Hi everyone, good evening. You're watching The Money Show on ET now. I'm Mubina Kapasi and well, as the coronavirus outbreak grips the nation, the world as well, our message to all our viewers is please stay at home. Do not venture out. And of course, if you're looking for things to do at home, well, one thing could be reviewing your finances, your portfolio. It's a very simple process. You just have to go to the CAMS website, download your portfolio, and we on The Money Show will give that portfolio a look. There's your activity for the week to do when you are at home, if you're not working from home, that is. And that's exactly what we are going to do today as well on The Money Show. I'm joined by Mr. P.V. Subramaniam of subramoney.com to take us through how should one look at their financial portfolio, their money management amidst this entire carnage that, of course, the world equity markets have gone through. Mr. Subramaniam, thank you for joining us on The Money Show. I suppose if SEBI had said shut the markets, we would not be having this conversation, but clearly they want to keep the financial markets open. So a lot of our portfolios are going to continue receiving that whiplash, I suppose, until the coronavirus cases do not ebb off or they do not find a cure or a vaccination that's confirmed. So, Mr. Subramaniam, over the last 10 odd days that India has been on quarantine, how many calls, how many emails have you received from your clients about how they can rejig their portfolio? Because I suppose that would be one good thing to do, right, when you're at home.
I don't know, but this time I got more calls saying, I got money, can I invest more? Okay, people have been wiped out, and people have lost a lot of money. But the people who really lost big money are people who had a leverage position, people who had borrowed, people who had done F&O. Otherwise, also people's portfolio today has been an absolute puppy. People have been just slaughtered. Yeah, today has been bad. But I've been getting calls saying, can we invest more money? And so I'm absolutely surprised here. But this is the worst day that I think I have seen in 40 years. I go back right to 1979. I haven't seen a bigger fall day like this ever.
You're actually right. This has been the worst fall percentage-wise and obviously even point-wise that the Nifty 50 has faced in its record. So yes, you're bang on the money over there. This has actually been one of the worst falls that we have seen. So Mr. Subramaniam, we don't know. I mean, what everyone is asking right now is when will the fall in the market stop? And as mutual fund investors, we've been told, that look, never try to time the market. But when things are going on like this, can one simply just go about continuing with their SIPs as if nothing has happened?
See, when I depends on when you need the money. Remember last week when I was on your show, I said the same thing. If you require money 20 years later for your retirement or 20 years later for your children's education, you just can't do anything. You have to be there because the steepest fall you have already missed. Now, suppose the rise is as fast and then you would have missed the fastest rise. So best is to keep continuing your SIPs. Maybe you reduce your SIPs. In fact, far more important is to know how much is the job threatened. If you're working in a hotel or an airline, the question is, will you continue to get your salary? Will you, those things are far more important. You should have enough money to pay your term insurance, your medical insurance, children's school fees. Make sure you have all that and then continue your SIP. Make an assumption that 6 months you won't get paid a salary, then 50% cut in salary. Make those assumptions. We still do not know which are the industries which are going to be really crippled. Definitely the aviation and entertainment and people doing events, they're going to be hurt very badly. We do not know what is going to be the implication for smaller banks. Look at the banks. Banks are about decimated. HDFC banks stand strong, but it doesn't mean all the other banks are standing strong.
So would you say that people should actually go back and look at the probability of them being able to continue with their jobs as well? Because, as production is being curtailed, as companies as well are going to be facing a severe financial crisis, it is a possibility that there will be layoffs. And if in case an individual feels that, maybe her or his job is not safe, what recommendations do you suggest? What would you recommend they should do with their mutual fund portfolios? What sort of rejigs should they make?
No, first of all, dramatically claw back on your SIP. Just stop doing your SIP. Look, you're a guy who's driving an Ola or an Uber car and the government says 15 days nobody will move out. which means next 15 days you're not going to have any income and you have to continue to pay your EMI. There is nobody who says, oh, don't pay the EMI. So your expenses are on and your income will be zero. So depending on which position you are in, so look at the probability of you losing your job and you not being able to find another job. Work on those things that are far more important. In fact, I keep saying the implication for the real economy is some 10,000 times more than for the financial sector. Financial sector is a small portion. But if people are not doing their job, they're not going to be able to afford it, especially at the lowest level. How are you going to handle? It's easy for you to tell your servant, don't come for 10 days. After that, she gets duty. Will you continue to pay her? Will you continue to pay the drivers? They're all scared. Many of them have run away. So I think you should be worried about those things. SIP is a small portion of your life. If you are worried about those things, stop your SIP immediately. Don't withdraw, but at least stop your SIP. Relook how your life is taking shape after a month or two. Then, when you're comfortable, you can restart your SIP. You can always stop your SIP for 2 3 months, see what is happening with your life. Are you going to lose your job? Is your company going to shut down? Those things are far more important than your SIP. Make sure you pay your term insurance and your medical insurance.
So it is absolutely okay to, hit the brakes on your SIP for maybe 1 or 2 months, assess how the job situation is. You can always resume your SIP later when you have some more clarity. But yeah, if you feel your job may be, at the edge, but of course, make sure you make your, life insurance and your medical insurance premium payments, but put a pause on the SIP. That's what Mr. Subramaniam is recommending. Now, what about those individuals who have certain payments or certain financial objectives that they want to meet in the next, say, 1 or 2 years? One could be maybe their child's education is coming up or something else. If they have some major payments to make, would you recommend they move that money to a debt MF right away? Or even for that matter, if you believe that they're losing their job or something, then should they rejig from equities to debt?
Yes, very sad situation, because if your goals are 2 years away, we do not know whether the market would have recovered. But I also do not know whether the market has hit its nadir. So, at this stage, I'm just telling people don't do anything. So if your requirement is 1 year away, I would request you to remove, say, 50% of the money or 70% of the money. But if your requirement is 2 years away, just remove 25% and let the remaining money stay. And for the money which you would have put into equity, start putting it into a bank RD or making a fixed deposit every month for say 1 year, 1.5 years, whatever is the time frame. And that makes more sense. But yeah, stop putting money into equity, especially if your goal is less than 5 years away. But if your goal is less than 2 years away, you have absolutely no choice to start withdrawing. Like you invested in an SIP basis, maybe you should withdraw on a systematic withdrawal, start withdrawing on a regular basis rather than withdraw today and find that you're withdrawn in the market. Maybe you take out 10% every month over the next 1 year or something like that. Just go ahead. See, these are absolutely unprecedented times. None of us really know what to do, but be careful and see what gives you comfort. That's far more important. What I tell you is not important. I require my money maybe after 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. So to me, it doesn't matter. But if you require it within 2 years, yeah, of course you will panic.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Now let's talk about those individuals, the lucky ones who are not at all invested in the markets yet. The ones who may just have graduated from college perhaps or are still in college. Do you think that this fall is a good time for them to nibble into the market or rather just start off their SIPs?
I wouldn't have really bothered, even if the market had not fallen and if somebody said, I would say, okay, start your SIP. Starting your SIP at the age of 22, 23 and requiring it when you're 16, another 35 years to go, doesn't really matter whether the market is at 27,000 or at 42,000. Doesn't really matter. Yes, some of these people might benefit, but if the market comes back very quickly, they wouldn't have invested money. But no, I wouldn't bother too much. I would start my SIP straight away. In fact, I would be very happy to start it straight away. And anyway, there's no point in talking about lump sum or lump sum because that is a young adult who may not have too much money to in a lump sum. So let him start with SIP with quarter amount. And I would have said that even if the market had not fallen, it's good for him. But even if it had not fallen, I would still ask him questions.
So there's never a great time to start investing. Now is always a great time to start investing in the market. So if you've not invested, then don't wait any further. Just start nibbling in, use an SIP. Okay, well, we're going to take a very short break, but when we return, Mr. Subramaniam will be answering your questions and queries. We've got a whole host of email queries that we are going to be answering. So if you emailed us these last couple of days, I know a lot of you have. Stay tuned because we're going to get your portfolio checked with Mr. PV Subramaniam. You can even call in 24990300 is the number. Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show on ET now. I hope all of you are staying home, staying safe, staying quarantined. And of course, if you're wondering what to do during this period and how to make it a bit more productive, well, here's an idea. Go through your mutual fund portfolio. See of the NAVs. I'm sure they've been beaten out of shape. It's not necessary that, of course, you have to take any action. But we on The Money Show are here to give you exactly that advice, whether you need to take any action, whether your financial assets are in line with the goals that you have set out for yourself. So we have Mr. PV Subramaniam, who is going to help you, get those questions and queries answered. So let's take on board our very first query then. Mr. Subramaniam, Rajesh Nayak has emailed us saying, I have 5 SIPs and have done one lump sum investment. He wants to know, shall he continue with his SIPs or book losses? And also, of course, that eternal question that we ourselves have been asking all market experts. How much more will the markets fall and for how long? So I suppose I just want to add in one more question, and that is with respect to lump sum investment. Would you advise that? That's just an added question from my side, Mr. Subramaniam.
See what, Mubin, you have seen the market come from 42,000, let's talk the Sensex, from about almost 42,000 to about 27,000. So at any point in time, I could have said, this is a great time to be entering, and I could have been wrong. So I could be wrong at 27,000, market could go down to 22,000. But if you believe that there is life beyond this virus and all that, then yeah, you have to put in some money. If you have your SIPs, you have to continue them. If you believe that humankind is going to live beyond this virus and some maybe 2,000 people will die, but it will come back and live properly. So if you believe that, you have to continue. But is it a full time, next time to put in all your money? I will know whether the carnage is over. Every day it looks like how much more can it fall, and it falls further. So maybe there is some more space. So if you have got, say, 30,000 to invest, you put in 10,000 now, it won't be too wrong. Then you put in 10,000 afterwards, the market goes down, and then you put another 10,000. So that's how I would say, at least 20% or 30% you can put. But believe me, right now, no Excel sheet or nothing is going to work. Only your emotions. Because there's no clue what this coronavirus is going to do. There's no clue what Nirmala Sitharaman is going to do with the economy. You don't know which companies will do well, what will happen to the US economy, the European economy. There's no clue. And I don't think RBI has got solutions for a problem like this. So I don't know, but yeah, I've invested. I invested today, but I also sold some stuff today. So yeah, keep investing and hope that the market will stop. But today was the worst day. So I wouldn't put a lump sum, but if I am my SIPs, I would continue. I wouldn't work.
Okay, understood. All right. Rajesh, I hope this has helped you out with your question. And of course, folks, if you have any queries, don't forget, you can call in on 24990300 and get your questions answered. Let's take on board our next query for today. It's coming in from Adish Sharma. Adish says, I'm 23 and my investment time period is around 20 years. Started investing in mutual funds around 2 years ago to amass wealth for retirement. Please assess investments. All are direct and growth plans. So there's it's quite a modest portfolio of around, in totality, roughly 3,500 are his SIP, which is split between HDFC Balanced Advantage, Murray Assets Emerging Blue Chip, and Axis Growth Opportunities. Wants to start another SIP. Should he include a large cap or a debt fund for long haul investment? Well, we love receiving such queries. He's only 23. In fact, started investing 2 years ago. So he started investing when he was 21. Yes, of course, because he invested 2 years ago, maybe his mutual funds are not doing well because the markets in general have not been doing well. But, he has time on his side. And Mr. Subramaniam, you had made a very interesting analogy about how coronavirus as well is almost like understanding the power of compounding, because that's how quickly I think the virus as well has been spreading. Clearly, folks like Adish will enjoy this power of compounding. The analogy, of course, is a bit negative, but yeah, if you could talk to us about that. And of course, additionally, recommend Adish on his portfolio.
Yeah, I see a balanced fund which he should not be investing in. He's got 20 years to go. So maybe in the same fund house, you should to HDFC equity fund instead of a balanced fund. The other two funds are okay. And like I said, this is an ideal guy. He's got 20 years to go. So market has fallen. That's great because he wouldn't have lost much money because he started. So he's got time on the side. Just one small tweak. And one more thing which he can do is to increase it by 5% or 10% every year. So 1 year you do an SIP of 3,000 rupees, and next year that same SIP becomes 3,450 or 3,150. So, every year you increase it by 5% or 10%. That's enough. You should not add more funds. 3 funds are good enough. Keep adding 5%, whatever you can. That's great. And if you have a lump sum, put it on any one of them and just stay on for 20 years, you'll do well. Nothing, no further tweaking necessary. Just shift one from balanced fund to a multi-cap fund.
All right. That's, of course, Mr. Subramaniam's view. Adish, like we mentioned, you have time on your side. And yeah, instead of the balance advantage, you have a long-term view. So maybe add in an HDFC equity. That's just one of the changes recommended. Okay, let's move on and take on board our next query. Munish Gupta writes in saying that he has roughly 6 SIPs going on currently: Axis Blue Chip Fund, Kotak Emerging, Mirae Asset Emerging, Nippon India Small Cap, Principal Emerging Blue Chip, and SBI Magnum Multi Cap. All in all, I think he's investing roughly about 15,000 rupees in across these 6 funds. He wants to know, will I be able to garner 1 crore from my investments at every specified year? That's 2037, 2040, 42 and 45. So he has goals basically that he wants to meet during each of these years. And also he's been investing since Jan 2019. Does he need to tweak his portfolio? So he has a time horizon of at least 18 years and counting. All right. This is another one that's direct and growth. Mr. Subramaniam, just to enlighten all our viewers, should they all opt for the direct option? I mean, which are the viewers that should not opt for direct? That's just my added question, apart from, of course, our viewers' query.
See, there are 2 things which are required for you to do direct. One, you should be interested in this, because for many people this is boring, so much of numbers, crunching and all. Then you should not be going direct. You should be interested in the subject. You should find time for doing the subject. Extremely busy doctor or very busy executive, be able to find time to decide which fund to invest in all that. Then you should go through an advisor. Now, again, if you do not know where to invest, like we have heard people who invest all their retirement money into one single share. So such foolish things, if you're not doing, like what this guy has done without an advisor, he's not done a very bad job. He's done a good job. So all you have to do is continue, but the amount is too less. 14,000 to accumulate 4 crores over a long period of time is not going to happen. But he need not worry. He can just make it something like 17,000, 18,000, maybe 20,000 and increase it by 10% every year. There is something called an automatic top up. It means every year you increase it by 10%, or every year when you get your Diwali bonus, you put 50% into it. Continue with the same funds. You look at a large cap fund, mid cap fund, he has done a decent job of choosing the fund. All you have to do is keep increasing the amount by 10% every year. Even if you get 15,000, 16,000, increase it by 10% every year, and you will do well. And annually you put your Diwali bonus into it, and you will be doing well. But yes, don't remove money and things like that. Over a 20-year period, you will get all your 1 crore. You want 1 crore over 4 points, and you will be able to get that. But yes, you have to increase it by 10%, and you have to hope to get about 12-13%. Which I think is not very difficult from this point in time over a 20-year period. But we do not know how much more this target can go down, but that should not bother him because we got a 20-year.
Okay, so make sure you could opt for that top-up SIP, which will increase your SIP amounts. Right now, according to Mr. Subramaniam, the amount of SIP you're making is a bit low. Okay, well, we'll not be able to take any more queries. We've just received a whole bunch of them. So, folks, don't worry. We'll be here all week to get your questions and queries answered. Thank you, Mr. Subramaniam. Always a pleasure having you with us on The Money Show. We'll wrap it up. Thank you for watching.